Welcome, everyone. Good evening. This is the webinar around ICPIC's Institute for Certified Psychedelic Integration Coaching a training program. We will be able to have this conversation here today. And welcome, everyone. Please have a look at this question on this first page. What are typical integration challenges after a psychedelic trip? And we may contemplate about this. Before we dive in, we are here on Zoom. This is the virtual environment. Please put in the chat where you are, what city you are in from. And please mute yourself and mute your phones to stay present and get interactive after my presentation pitch. Move yourself into your learning zone. And please use the hands up icon if you have a question and be respectful with each other. So as we can dive in, psychedelic integration is timely. Basically, these are just copies of recent news from the past weeks. I really had this material prepared earlier, and I needed to already update these news events because as good as they were already outdated. Some better news came along. So as you can see, if you read the news around psychedelics, it is coming. This is a modality that is a cutting edge field, and people keep hearing this in the mainstream media and are very curious about this. The American NGO MAPS, a Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, expects and lobbies in Washington so that MDMA-assisted therapy, this is AT stands for assisted therapy, could be approved by the FDA, which stands for Food and Drug Agency in the USA as early as this year, making MDMA a prescription drug, the first psychedelic legalized since the 70s. Yes, let me move on. So who is your coach trainer? Again, welcome. My name is Márton Mányai. Your coach trainer will be me. I am the founder and director of ICPIC, Institute for Certified Psychedelic Integration Coaching. I'm a helping professional with 16 years multinational, multi-industry experience. I have lived and worked in Hungary. I'm a Hungarian citizen. I have lived and worked in Germany, Switzerland, and Spain. And I'm a diploma theologian pastor, Pentecostal Theological Seminary. I am currently living in Madrid, Spain. Excuse me, I need to shut this here for a moment. I'm also a diploma supervisor. I have been granted senior supervisor since 2020. As you see, I've graduated 2011, so I've been around quite some time now in this helping professions. So I'm a solution-focused brief coach. I gained through that course my ICF-PCC title in 2015. And I ever since have become and stayed member of ICF. I'm an active ICF coach mentor. I mentor coach students, and I'm also an ICF PCC marker assessor. So you can see that I have all the badges. I have all the eligibility to carry out a full level 2 ICF program. I am eligible to a program director for an ICF accredited course. I will soon talk about that more. I have over 2,100 coaching hours in 3 languages, English, German, and Hungarian in the past 14 years. I have more than 200 coachees from US, Europe, Africa, Middle East, and Australia. I have facilitated trainings for over 1,000 people. At this point, I am also a diploma drawing assessment specialist. This means that I can make drawing tests with my clients, and I can read personality traits and a lot more rich information from their drawings, like draw a house, draw a tree, draw a human, and more. I'm also a ICF certified Jungian coach. I'm a Symbolon specialist. which is the most relevant, I guess, for you to hear, is I am a graduate from IPI. This stands for Integrated Psychiatry Institute in the US. They are first cohort of psychedelic assisted therapy providers. And I also was granted access through IPI's collaboration with MAPS of MAPS's MDMA-assisted therapy provider education course, which these are the highest available psychedelic therapy provider trainings to date. And ICPIC is adhering to the MAPS protocol. These are two of the photos of my certifications. On the left here you see the IPI one, and on the right here is the MAPS. Right. This is me giving my testimonial at IPI's training cohort. And these are some of my coachees' testimonials. It's quite embarrassing to read these out, but I'm happy about them, and I guess it helps if you hear them too. Martin is a very attentive and straightforward coach. Due to his help and advice, I have grown more confident in my role. He has empowered me to identify and frame my personal objectives in order to bring the greatest benefit to my leadership development, said my coachee William about me. The next one said Teresa, Martin Magno is a great coach. He sees things as they are and has the gift of keeping them simple, as complicated as they may seem or be. It has been a great experience to have him as my coach. And the last testimonial, which I am particularly pleased about, is from my Symbolon assessor, Linda. Dear Martin, it was a great honor for me to do your Symbolon certification. Your 2 coaching sessions were the best I have heard in the last years. The elegance of your questions, always short and to the point, is quite special. I hope you are aware that you have outstanding skills and the maturity that is needed for brilliant coaching. Present, focused, empathetic, holding the space, yet humble, and a lot more. This was quite embarrassing to read out loudly, but I am very happy about these. I were a TEDx speaker gazillion years ago. This was in 2011 in Budapest. You see here on the lower right corner, TEDx Youth Budapest Conference. I was talking actually already back then, 13 years ago, about my supervision and coaching practice. I was announced at the conference as Hungary's youngest coach at the time. So this gives you a perspective of how times have shifted. I am, by the way, 42 years old. I am not ashamed to admit that to you today. So ICPIC follows the MAPS protocol. What does this mean? So this was one of our training slides at the MAPS training. This is quite a busy slide, but let me explain it. So the title is MDMA-assisted therapy for severe PTSD, a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled phase 3 study. And this is the flow chart of how the therapy process goes. It starts with a screening. I have also, this we will see on the second slide or third slide, so screening that certain populations have to be excluded. And then if that is done and fine, then the preparatory session. So you see with 3 orange colored, 3 preparatory coaching or therapy sessions. And during this course, if the client is on antidepressants, they need to taper off from that medication because it typically interferes with psychedelics. And then with red, you see the experimental session. So this is the MDMA dosing session, followed by 3 green colored items, which you see as the integration sessions. So 3 preparatory sessions, a psychedelic dosing session, followed by 3 integration sessions. In this particular therapy research modality, this was repeated twice. So it was 3 MDMA dosing sessions followed by each 3 integration sessions, right? And the results were very promising. The MDMA-assisted therapy for severe PTSD, with the blue, we see the placebo with therapy. And this is the SDS total score. This stands for severe dependency score. And the below one with the red is the MDMA assisted therapy. So here we see the baseline time period, and already after the first one, it declined sharply. What I wanted to note is as an interesting and positive side note that placebo with therapy had also some effects. So this should come to no surprise to anyone who had been in therapy, that therapy has benefits. But it is the good news that the substance, MDMA, carried a significant benefit, added benefit to the placebo, up to the point that after three sessions, it has even gotten better. So what does this mean for us? What does this program, ICPIC's program, upskill you for? So basically, I could identify here three distinct roles. Let's start with this lower one here, the psychedelic therapy provider. So this is somebody like, for example, me, who had been trained by a qualifier body of educators, and I am now a psychedelic therapy provider. And this will come handy when in the future, eventually, some of these or more of these substances will be legalized. Then there is the other role, the sitter. A sitter is a person who is literally sitting with you during your altered state of consciousness dosing session. And one of their jobs is to make sure that you stay safe and has a calming presence, helps you to co-regulate through their calming presence, and just normalizes everything. This should be typically a person who is not psychedelic naive, but somebody who had already experienced psychedelics and can authentically encourage you and calm you during your trip. And the third role, which we are here for tonight, is the psychedelic integration coaching. So this is an umbrella expression, a new modality, of course, and many interventions could be understood under this activity. And what I am offering, what I aim and committed to offer is ICF level of psychedelic integration coaching. ICF stands for International Coaching Federation and is the world's largest professional coaching federation who define what their definition is of coaching and then adhere by their definition and their ethical codex. So I am committed to deliver you a psychedelic integration coaching training program that is in full adherence with ICF Code of Ethics, full adherence with ICF definitions of coaching, and all the benefits that come with that. If I want to visualize what I just talked about in a different manner, and we raise the question, where is the focus in this particular training program? As we see, it started with preparation sessions, and the pinnacle there is the psychedelic trip, and is followed by integration conversations, may that be therapy or coaching modality. And our program sits in particular about the integration coaching phase. So I am very transparent with you and straightforward. This is the focus of our program. This is not a psychedelic assisted therapy provider training course, but an integration coach training course. So you will be coaches by the end of the program. This will be your primary skill. But the preparation is also understood as part of the integration. And we will, of course, talk about this arch where we can have some very elegant and meaningful interventions already anticipating in the building a bridge in the preparation coaching sessions towards a better future for the client. I love this research study slide so much that I blended it in again. And now it will make more sense if you see my psychedelic assisted therapy process flowchart. So this is mine. This is available on my website. And by the way, in the chat, you should see already I have put in my websites. I can put it in again. Note that the ending is not icpic.ch, and it's not .com, but .ch. So similarly to the protocol, I do a health pre-screen questionnaire, and I make a prospective client first sign a informed consent form, even before I talk with them even one sentence. I intentionally use this as a threshold to cross, a hurdle to overcome. You should imagine that this health questionnaire, which is an extremely detailed questionnaire, a physical, psychiatric, psychological, mental, emotional, and also I ask about suicidal tendencies and everything from allergies to whatnot. And this is a 24-page assessment screening flowchart, or assessment screening questionnaire, excuse me. And this should show me the dedication of the client, the prospective client. If they bring it up to themselves to fill this out, that also signals me that they really mean it. And then I offer them a 30-minute initial consultation on Zoom, which is typically offered free in my decision. In this 30-minute call, we answer to the questions, can we work together and do we want to work together? And if the answer is for both yes, then the client can buy my package of my service, which is this series of 3 preparation sessions, the dosing session, a magic mushroom dosing session, and followed by 3 integration sessions. The non-dosing sessions I execute online via Zoom, and I work basically, by the way, fully online as an business coach and leadership trainer. That is, I am doing this full time. I live off of coaching. I work in English, German, and Hungarian. And yeah, so this you should know about me. Why does this matter? Why does this structure that I have just so meticulously described to you matter? Service providers co-design the vehicle of their service. So if in this picture, somebody drives a bicycle and is suffering an accident, not expecting this horrible solution on the road, then we can all agree that it's not just, or mainly not, the cyclist who is to blame and who needs to be held accountable, but the architects and the people who built this road and allowed this structure to happen are accountable. So in this elegy, you and I, prospective service providers, therapists, coaches, are these architects, these designers of the road. We do carry immense responsibility of what we set up our clients for, and we better be able to say no. We need to have a strong skill of saying no and potentially rejecting more prospective clients than we would do accept. This is a new nascent modality and people need to be educated, and psychedelics are not for everyone. And we should upkeep the highest ethical standard of how this work can maximize their benefits with maximum safety and minimum risk of anything going wrong. So the next picture, the next metaphor, I think is even stronger. It maybe looks funny that there is this children's playground on the top of the building, but it's not really funny when we think about it. So we carry some responsibility. And this is the ethical standards and the field knowledge of many years having worked with over hundreds of clients that have taught me the importance of high ethics. And this is what I am committed to impart in my training course. For example, this is not psychotherapy, but coaching. You keep hearing me talking about coaching, and this is not a synonym for psychotherapy. There are distinct differences, and I want to emphasize and shed some light on that, and by comparing the two modalities. And I just want to preface that I have had I have been in psychotherapy, and I thank God every day for the existence of psychotherapists. They are very much needed and very useful. And I am also knowing the ins and outs of my coach profession. And yeah, so I speak not just from theory, but from I have lived and practiced and seen these things from in firsthand. So psychotherapy aims to heal, to restore the baseline functioning. And compared to that, coaching optimizes performance and helps to reach goals. Therapy works with not healthy population. Coaching works with healthy, normal population. So psychotherapists call their customers patients. Coaches call their customer coachee or client. Psychotherapy is regulated by healthcare provider laws. Coaching is unregulated or poorly regulated field. The sobering fact is that anyone can call themselves coach. Anyone can basically, so if you wanted to, it is basically, you could go out from this webinar and put on your business card, I'm a psychedelic integration coach. No one will hinder you. No one will hold you accountable. There is no law against this. So this is the state of the reputation and the freedom of the profession of coaching. So this leaves us with a need of very high ethics because no one else will basically protect us. Of course, if there is some mistreatment, angry clients can, sue their service providers. So this can happen too. Moving on, coaching is trademarked and trademarked and regulated profession. If I call myself a psychotherapist and I'm not a licensed psychotherapist, then I can go to jail. That's a criminal act. And in coaching, ICF and other world associations can define the standard of coaching. Psychotherapy deals with the past and the present, and coaching typically deals with the future and the present. Psychotherapy, they are health professionals, and they are the expert in the room. So you have to understand that psychotherapy is coming from the medical field. In the 19th centuries and even before, these were doctors. So even psychiatrists, of course, are doctors. First and foremost, they are physicians with the psychiatry specialization. So everything that, so the roots of psychotherapy come from a biological, natural, nature science-based medicalizing framework. And they are considered expert in the room. And they carry the metaphorical or literal white lab coat, which signifies their superiority, their authority, that they have, they know what to do, and they are there to impart their knowledge. This is a little bit the air that surrounds these professionals. So the health professional is the expert in the room. With coaching, the coachee is the expert, which refers to they are the expert of their own life. And this is what is being harnessed in coaching continuously. Psychotherapist diagnoses and decides on treatment plan. A coach does not diagnose, but can have hypotheses. The coach does not have the skill set nor the license to set up diagnoses, and this is why they're not allowed to diagnose. We need to navigate with two important pitfalls that we definitely need to address, which is the first is that it's illegal to advertise as and do psychotherapy and healing if you are not a licensed psychotherapist. And the next one is it is illegal to condone and administer illegal substances where this is the jurisdiction. So coming to the first, these are very important points. So that it is illegal to advertise as, to call your services therapy or other forms of healing if you're not a licensed psychotherapist. So you will see that language used in this program will intentionally not be medicalizing. I do acknowledge that in the psychedelic field, it is common that these substances are called psychedelic plant medicines or healing medicines or psychedelic medicines. And I will intentionally not use this word medicine, because what does that imply? You know, what does medicine do? Medicine heals. Who uses medicine is a healer. And I must not engage in any type of healing activity. Again, actually, there is also within the EU, but I guess other places too, laws against charlatans who pose as healers, who sell their pills as medicine, claiming all sorts of wondrous effects, and then hurting people, not just financially, but more importantly, damaging their body. So this is to be taken very seriously. It sounds naive and innocent if I call myself a healer, but I want to shed light on the responsibility of the fact if someone embarks engaging in that identity and activity of a healer. You mustn't call yourself a healer if you don't have a license to do that. Clients indeed must not be in the need of actual healing, arriving with diagnoses or illnesses or disorders. So this means that this limits your target audience. So this might be a bad news for those who listen to you, but so anybody who tells you otherwise or tries to, tempt you to think of yourself more freely is lying to you. That's what I have to tell you, that you can't and shouldn't, you mustn't welcome somebody who openly tells you that they are sick. May that sickness be mental or physical or psychiatrical, and you can't promise them that you will heal them with psychedelics or psychedelic integration coaching. This is very dangerous territory, and you need to protect your client and yourself against this. So this limits your target audience. Basically, the safest target audience is healthy normals that you can work with if you call yourself a coach. This is ICF ethics. You don't have the competency to diagnose illness, but you need to be able to read red flags at screening a potential client and offer psychoeducation in a consultant role. So you need to have that awareness. You have an ethical and sometimes legal duty to refer clients to better fitting service providers, or just straight up reject them and say, no, I'm sorry, I can't serve you. The next one is, it is illegal to condone and administer illegal substances where this is the jurisdiction. This pretty much covers to date the overwhelming majority of the world. You mustn't offer anyone illegal substances. You mustn't even appear to condone the use of illegal substances. More so, you need to state in writing repeatedly and in talk verbally that you do not condone the use of illegal substances, literally with these words. You have to protect both you and your client legally by distancing yourself from appearing even to promote illegal substances. Letting a waiver sign or informed consent form sign that you have heard is part of my process. You need that have in writing and have your client's signature on it to protect the both of you. And it doesn't hurt if you have a liability insurance as a freelancer coach. Your attitude and your image should be framed under harm reduction efforts and education, right? These are great buzzwords to use to reduce harm and to educate people. You need to make clear and verbal and written statements about this and asking your clients for verbal and written consent. What are the boundaries of competencies of the graduates of ICPIC's coaching program? A professional is marked by their awareness of their competencies, where they start and where they finish, and is accountable. So this certificate training gives you excellent toolbox to facilitate psychedelic integration coaching sessions with healthy normal population, meaning for the purpose of increasing self-knowledge, spirituality, reaching goals, crossing ritual thresholds in life, crossing transitional life phases. So just as a remark that, to consider these substances drugs or prescription drugs or medicines is only one aspect of the picture. So my best metaphor that is that light is both. It has two natures. Light it's also a particle and it's also a wave. The two do not exclude each other. Light has both natures. It is a particle and it is a wave at the same time. Similarly, I want to say that psychedelic substances might be considered under a medicalizing framework, medicines, but there is also a different lineage, Aboriginal, indigenous people of Latin America, South America, and we don't even need to cross the pond in Asia. This has been part with humanity everywhere, basically everywhere where people live. Psychedelic mushrooms in particular grow along with the humans. So this can be also framed under a religious, spiritual umbrella. So on that umbrella, these substances can be considered sacraments. There are psychedelic churches in the US and Latin America because the indigenous people of Americas have all the right to continue their tradition and calling this sacraments. And no one can blame for that or question that. This has been longer with them than we train doctors in universities in Europe or in America. Moving on, this certificate training does not give you additional scope of competency other or beyond the previous trainings or certifications and licenses that you already hold. So you need to abide by the laws of the countries that you live and operate in. No coaching or even a therapist certification overrides that and gives you license. So even IPIs or MAPS, psychedelic assisted therapy providers, certificates or badges are only as worth much as it carries a potential that in the future, when and if these substances will be legalized, that there will be regulation that will describe the rights and the scope of competency of those professionals who can carry these therapies out. You mustn't condone the use of illegal substances in jurisdictions where they are prohibited. You can get in trouble for that. The boundaries of ICF Code of Ethics is relevant, and we will always adhere to that and study that in depth in this program. This is a screenshot from my program that I have shared in the chat, which is icpic.ch/coach/training. So the duration of the program is 130 hours. It is carried out fully online on Zoom, and it is split into 3 modules. The first module is called Coaching Base, which is approximately 70 hours, and approximately half of these 70 hours are synchronous contact hours, meaning they happen in real time, meeting real people. And this is why it's synchronous. And the rest is asynchronous, meaning this is self-study, watching videos, reading articles and books. The second module is called Coaching Advanced 1. It is approximately 50 hours, and again, around half is synchronous contact hours. This is all adhering ICF standards. And the Coaching Advanced Second is the third module for those who aim for the PCC level, which stands for Professional Certified Coach ICF identifies that for ACC, associate certified coach, a training program has to have at least 60 and maximum 125 hours. So coaching base covers the requirements of a level 1 ICF accreditation. We do not hold yet this accreditation. My best hope is to use the first cohort as a pilot program, and based on everything that will happen, we can get this accreditation. I cannot guarantee it at this point yet. I mean, everyone has to start somewhere. This is a very new cutting edge modality. And so you couldn't literally have been having this sooner than right now. So the module breakdown looks in coaching base. You get foundational knowledge and skills and coaching techniques tailored to the unique needs of individuals integrating psychedelic experience. Okay, and the rest I have said. I am jumping on to the next slide. Yeah, you can read this in calmness on the website. I don't want to lose time with that you can just click and read yourself. The dates you will also find. So very concretely, it starts 6th and 7th of May. All these dates are Mondays and Tuesdays from 4 p.m. to 7:30 Central European time. These are all Mondays and Tuesdays. You can do this absolutely beside work and family. And so 6th and 7th of May, and then a week after we have again 2 days. And then you see we have 3 weeks of pause. So June, again here, 2 weeks in pause. And then we go to summer break and come together again in September. And so monthly, these are 4 days up until the 4th of November, we cover coaching base. Coaching Advanced 1 is building on coaching base. This is the requirement to go to Advanced 1. And this will happen the soonest in November, of course, when coaching base has finished off. We have not identified yet dates, but this will come soon. All of the modules have a maximum of a small group size of 20 participants, and this guarantees you focus and individual time and attention from me. All this is a very intensive further knowledge. You can read also on the website Coaching Advanced 2. This is also building on Advanced 1. This is the condition. Exactly. So there is a knowledge-based material around specifically psychedelics. So it is a merge of ICF coach-specific training program combined with psychedelic relevant learning material. This will be realized on an intranet site via case study videos with real clients, with obligatory books that you need to read. You will receive 7 hours of group mentoring in the first module and additional 3 individual mentoring as ICF requires in the advanced programs. And which is very important. I am very transparent about this. What is the coaching modality that you will be learning in this program? It is founded on evidence-based, solution-focused brief coaching approach. This is what I teach here. And this is in adherence with MAPS protocol. It's a beautiful modality, very humanistic, very life-affirming and joyful and future-oriented and empowering. You will practice coaching from day 1. It's a very practical, very experienced learning-based learning. My aim is to get the ICPIC accreditation on level 1 and 2. But at this point, this is not guaranteed yet. I just don't see the future, but this is what I am committed to deliver that. I have mentioned that. Some topics that may be covered in the knowledge-based, in the psychedelic topics is set and setting, coach self-management and self-care, ethics of working with psychedelics and non-ordinary state of consciousness, ethics of integration coaching, the history of the psychedelic landscape, pharmacology, effect and dosage of psychedelic substances, the use of music during the trip, intake assessment questionnaire template, So you see, these are topics that are not exactly just focusing on integration. This goes way beyond the entire process, because you just need to have the understanding to be able to hold a conversation with your client who just had their trip, or if you are embarked with their journey. Also, from preparation, these will be the questions that typically come up, even if they do the dosing session somewhere else. Let's say they travel to South America, or they come to me in Madrid and can work with me with magic mushrooms. So other topics may conclude contraindications completely of medications with psychedelics, difficult trips, relational contracting as coach, very important, microdosing, interdisciplinarity of our profession, what are the neighboring professions that are there and can assist with us. One of the obligatory reading material will be the MAPS treatment manual, therapist treatment manual. So we go back straight to the source. You can't get any better than this. If you didn't get into the MAPS MDMA assisted therapist training, you still will be able to consume the treatment manual, which I had to do in my therapist trainings. I hope this is great news. We will cover transference and countertransference. I have done, I think, 4 coaching trainings in the past years, but I have never heard about transference and countertransference, only in my supervision studies. This is a very important aspect that will come up in an ordinary state of consciousness, even in a heightened level. So you will hear and learn here in this training course about this. There is a community platform for the students with organized searchable content. There will be a written test conducted, ensuring obligatory readings are digested. So I hope this doesn't sound too scary, but I will want to make sure that you have read the books and consumed this knowledge. Potential possibility to apply for ACC or PCC knowledge test at ICF to later gain these titles if the program gets accreditation. And a coach exam to coach a professional coach for the students who aim for the PCC level. So this is packed. This is rich material. This program is right for you even if the foreseeable future, you won't have the right to prescribe or administer psychedelics due to lack of certification as health service provider. For if you're not a doctor, a psychiatrist, or a psychotherapist, or a nurse, even if psychedelic substances will eventually be legalized in a controlled manner as prescription medications under the administration of licensed clinics. This program is right for you if, due to the lack of aforementioned certifications, you likely won't be able to have the legal license, neither in the future to be a psychedelic therapist in psychedelic clinics based on likely FDA requirements. This program is right for you if you currently don't get taken into training programs such as MAPSs or IPIs for lack of required degrees. This program is right for you if you aim to have this ICF level of knowledge and technique of coaching, which is transferable to other contexts as well. I should really whisper this. This is transferable to other contexts as well. So you can apply these coaching techniques, solution-focused brief methods, to business coaching. You can apply this for life coaching. The approach, the mindset, the role is the same. The context is the psychedelic integration coaching. So you get a very rich, I am very enthusiastic and can't wait to start this program. It is very rich. You get a lot of value for your money. If you find value in the emphasis of the preparation and integration work and not so much on sitting with the client for the trip itself, this role is ideal for you. This program is, again, right for you if you prefer working with healthy, normal population and can therefore stick to the ethics of being a coach on a high standard and not a wannabe therapist who acts unethically. If you have a minimum of 100 hours of self-knowledge experience with the guidance and feedback of a professional, for example, having been in psychotherapy, art therapy, supervision, group psychodrama, or bibliodrama, or other modalities, I do accept. Reading watching films or going to conferences and webinars does not count as self-knowledge. So this is the biggest hurdle. I am setting the threshold that that is a requirement for the students. I think that if you had 100 hours of self-knowledge, this means that you have had several role models of professionals, helping professionals who have modeled already for you their role. You've breathed the same air as your therapist or your bibliodrama instructor. So this is my way of ensuring that this is a great crowd who comes here together, who shares this knowledge and experience and motivation, and of course, focus in life. Why do I narrow it down to integration coaching? Why is this valid? What people ultimately want regarding psychedelics is to change. What they really want is not the psychedelic trip itself, but the effects they hope from them, right? They have goals, typically change behaviors, change relationships, and a coach works exactly with that, goals. Goals are future-oriented, coaching is future-oriented. You can absolutely validly work with that. As this field progresses into mainstream, there always will be more access to substances than to a helping professional who can guide you along the journey. So you have to just realistically think this through. Suddenly, at a point in time, MDMA will be legalized. Psilocybin mushrooms will be legalized. Psilocybin will be mass-produced, chemically produced, not just as mushroom, but as a prescription drug. This will be unleashed to hundreds of millions of people in the US alone and hundreds of millions in Europe and the rest of the world. Because as soon as the FDA approves and if a drug will be legalized there, the European Pharmaceutical Association will also register this prescription drug. So it will automatically go to Europe and the rest of the world. So we will have a big need of professionals, trained professionals. It will be mainstreamed. It will rid of its stigma or its taboo, and your neighbor or your friend, your acquaintance will knock on your door and ask about what they just heard on the news, what they just read in articles. There will be a demand. I don't have to be a future-seeing prophet to be able to predict this. As the field processes, yeah, I mentioned that. So ketamine clinics are already popping up left and right, which do not offer even a sitter, much less a coach or therapist. So there are indeed ketamine clinics where you go in and you self-medicate, and then after an hour, you leave, and nobody is ministering to you, nobody is helping to make sense of what just happened. You're just left alone. This is also a business model. So if these ketamine clinics alone are increasing in numbers, you will have a demand for your services. Or an ayahuasca or mushroom group retreat in South America, but the individuals go back to their home or to their old routines without help. You will be needed. On the market, you will be not competing with licensed psychedelic therapists, but with potentially charlatan integration service providers who don't have the skill and or the ethics. You have the chance to stand out by being able to deliver on your promise of high standard integration coaching. This modality is time efficient if you don't have to sit with the client for 5 or 10 hours if you prefer not to. You can work remotely. You can scale your customer base through that, as I do, and it is legal. So the good news is coaching, talking with people, having a Zoom call is and will be legal. You don't risk anything in that regard. Again, you need to have the proper setting and structure around that. Okay, so basically, this is my invitation for you to be part of the psychedelic renaissance. So let's just take a moment and digest this information. And I hope you are as enthusiastic now as am I. Invest in your passion. I beg you, your calling. Attain the coaching skills and technique with short months until November. and be part of the solution for your future clients. Let's take a moment and imagine what is possible in only 1 year, actually less than 1 year, by November. What difference would that make to you? What difference would that make to your clients if you had this skill and certification? So let's talk about value and price. Psychedelic Integration Coach trainings. This is no secret. You can Google this and you will find the similar as I did. They go for typically 10 to 14,000 US dollars. I've also seen higher. That may be inferior to this program, which are not aiming for any accreditation, much less ICF accreditation, and possibly no real evidence-based coaching techniques are taught, and trainers may not be certified coaches who are teaching. So it's a dirty secret that anyone literally can go ahead and set up and call their program coach training program. So the term coach is this jolly joker term that anyone can use. And that doesn't mean that they even have the slightest idea what coaching or ICF coaching stands for. Typically, what these non-educated quote-unquote coaches do, they are giving advice. They are consultants. They mix these roles of coach to consultants, and they just tell it how it is. They are basically in an expert role, giving advice, consulting their clients, and they then label this as coaching. This is not, it's nonsense. That is not coaching. That is consultancy. This can be a valid service, but that's not coaching. So some of these integration coach programs do not teach coaching. They have not the slightest idea of what actual coaching is. They might have expert information, valid information even, that they can impart people, but that's not coaching. So ICF accredited coaching programs also are distinctly above this price tag. You can also Google that, ICF level 1 or 2 programs. Go ahead and Google that, which do not give anything regarding psychedelic context. This program will also be priced on a similar level once the accreditation happened to match it to its real value on the market, acknowledging the unique selling point of expertise that can be acquired here at ICPIC. I acknowledge it takes trust to participate in a pilot program, and I want to honor that trust with the lower tuition fee. What does this mean? ICPIC coach base program, so this 70 hours training plus the psychedelic knowledge base costs now for the very first cohort only 2,999 euros, which is less than you pay for an ICF certified coach training program that would have no psychedelic context. You not only get ICF level knowledge from a PCC lecturer and a mentor coach and an IPI alumni, but the psychedelic integration coach skills context to give you a head start in the market. Members of BIPOC, this stands for Black, Indigenous, and Person of Color, and LGBTQ community can apply for further discount in the spirit of equitability. I put where my money, where my mouth is. I practice here diversity and inclusion and equity. You may ask for a payment plan of monthly installments of 8 times 400 euro a month or 4 times 775 euro every 2 months. So I hope that's good news. If you meet the application requirements, then apply today at icpic.ch/coach-training. And to honor your time that you have set with me all this time, I have a surprise gift for you. But before that, it is now time for Q&As. Please ask your questions and fill out the application form downloadable from this website with the required proof of the 100 hours of self-knowledge work. And remember that the first 20 qualifying applicants who pay in the tuition make up a closed cohort starting May 6, 2024. And a surprise gift for you is for the webinar attendees. And also, if you have watched this but haven't attended the live event, you do count too. There is a coupon code. I will share this coupon code definitely in the Q&A after recording has stopped. If you want to know the coupon code, please contact me. I will share it with you. If you purchase all 3 modules at once, meaning the base, advanced 1 and 2, you get 10% off. Cannot combine with other scholarships or discounts. On the whole sum in one payment is the condition. So with this case, the final tuition fee then is not 5,500 euros, but 4,950 euros. And you may ask for a payment plan even for that, for 420 euros per month for 12 months. So either pay it in one and save 550 euros today, or drum rolls, please. This is my last slide before Q&A. This is my best offer. This is my best offer for you today. If you can get either coaching base with a monthly payment plan of 8 times 400 euros, which I hope is bearable for any household, or the even better offer is get everything, get coaching base, advanced 1 and advanced 2 for 12 times 420 euros a month. And yeah, that's my best offer. I literally can't do any better. So out of information, the floor is yours, you guys. Please take away your questions. Thank you so much for your attention, and I'm very curious what the future holds for you. It's time for your questions. At this point, I stop the recording.